Okay, we are here on podcast number 5 with my incredible life coaching partner, Jocelyn Sokol. And today we have an icon in Ridgewood. One day, like 80 years from now, you'll walk up Ridgewood Avenue and you'll see a statue of the woman that we're looking at right now. The great Jeanne Johnson.
Hilarious.
Well, if you're in Ridgewood, you know her. And I got to know her, like she's doing a million different things. And some of the things that she's done, she's really brought about safe routes to school, walk bike initiatives, Ridgewood Walks, Red Moms at Glen's School. But I taught at BF for 36 years. And I had a lot of great classes that I got to teach, but by far, from the bottom of my heart, the greatest classes that I ever taught came from Jeanne Johnson. Jeanne's a visionary who went to the Ridgewood schools and said, why can't we bring biking into the school system? Why can't we bring it in? I'll do the grant work. She herself has brought in over $1.5 million worth of grant money. And what happened, and I'll shortcut this, my last 2 years, we went on bike rides off the campus with 30 kids in a line. And it just so happened, many of our kids who, and I love the term, Ali Stroker coined it, with different abilities, kids who had some challenges, but had so many gifts, would lead those rides. And a lot of kids who didn't get the notoriety or a chance to shine, just shined in those classes. And we stayed together. All that made it the greatest experience I ever had as a wellness teacher. The person to your left, my right, had a vision of this and then did the dirty work, got in, did all the grant work, and created this. So she's an incredible woman, someone who I look at for anytime I'm down in the dumps, I call her on the phone. So the great Jeanne Johnson, and I'll turn it over to Jocelyn to lead off with question 1.
Hi, Jeanne.
Hi.
So one of the things, the many things, that I know you're doing, but one of the things that you mentioned, let's start with, is the Inspirational Rocks you've been leaving in town. Can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, it's so hard to keep people focused on the positive right now. And so I heard about it and thought, well, why not create something called Ridgewood Rocks? We already have Ridgewood Walks, so why not Ridgewood Rocks? There's so many wonderful people in this community, so I called up a couple of my friends and asked them if they would be interested in painting the rocks, and they did, and they're very, very colorful, and they have all these great inspirational messages. The Anna Salerno family and Amy Dolich, their families did a beautiful job painting the rocks, and they're hidden all over the Central Business District and the streets that veer off of the East Ridgewood Avenue. So, when people go for a walk, they can just all of a sudden just look down or look around and see something that'll just bring them some joy.
Yeah, it's great.
Love it. So nice. I was seeing a lot of look like by kids drawings on the sidewalks with things like that, and to see it, on the rocks, sort of almost brought more to life. It's really, I think it does mean a lot for people.
Right. So we're doing another sidewalk chalk project starting May 1st. So the rock project was our April project, and then our May project is the sidewalk chalk project. So starting May 1st, there's going to be a basket of sidewalk chalk right by the clock in town. And so everyone can go pick up a piece of chalk. And that's what we're asking people to do. Go out there, draw inspirational messages on the sidewalk, on your driveway or whatever, and then a group of volunteers is going to go down and help the share houses on Prospect and on Cottage Place and Ridgecrest. We're going to draw some things on their driveways so the residents can open up their windows and see that we haven't forgotten about them, that they're loved and that we care, and to lift them up and make sure that they know that they're still part of our community.
Jeannie, I wish you had been a male and a little bit younger.
Why is that?
Because I would have loved to have you play on my basketball team. Because
I'm so tall.
UMTH. Anytime we needed some action or things to happen, I would have put you in the game. You make things happen. A lot of people I know have a lot of good ideas. They have a lot of thoughts, but there's something about you. You're like a buffalo, like you charge the storm. You really do. You've made more things actually go from A to Z out of just a vision than anyone I've ever seen. What gives you the right to be so tenacious? How come you're like that? Where'd it come from?
Mm-hmm. I don't know where it came from, but I think that it's just, I don't understand why more people don't do it. I mean, you don't have to have a long string of degrees. You don't have to have any experience. If you just want to do good, you just do good. That's it. That's it is. And, nobody should stop you from doing that, So.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Jess. I know you're in.
Well, speaking about the all the donations you've helped organize with the restaurants for the healthcare workers, can you tell us some more about that?
Well, I didn't organize that. That was spearheaded by our Mayor Ramon Heshe, and the Chamber of Commerce President, Scott Leaf. And so I'm not even really sure how I ended up getting involved, but Joan Groom, the director of the Chamber of Commerce, and Paul Vaggiano's a restaurant owner in town. They sort of started it. And then, of course, Stacy Anton from Health Barn USA, who is an incredible human being. She has Health Barn Foundation that does feed people in need. And so that was just a perfect partnership. And so I guess I don't even know how long we've been doing this. I want to say it's been 4 weeks, maybe. I don't know. Time just goes by so quickly. But it's just a beautiful partnership. Like I said, we are getting donations from the community and the drivers that we have so many people volunteering to drive. People just want to help. It's so gratifying. You have no idea how much gratitude I have that I have been able to work on this project, because it has helped me see the very, very, very best in our community.
Yeah. I've never met anyone really like you. You're either crying or loving. Like you talk to Jeannie on the phone, and all of a sudden she starts sobbing about what's going on in the world and about all the people that she loves. And then all of a sudden she changes or pushes a little trigger, and she starts loving and serving and giving. So I once heard the opposite of love is fear. And I think you, unlike anyone I've ever met, you blend them beautifully together. But you use your spirit, and it kind of just diminishes that fear and takes you into a forward progress. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, that's not to say that, this challenging time, for sure, I'm definitely afraid. Not for myself so much. I don't even know if it's fear, but I definitely hurt for all of the people that are affected by this. I mean, the people that have actually tested positive, the pain that they're going through. And then I think the caregivers, I think that really hurts the most for caregivers, because it's such a helpless position to be in, for family members anyway, if you're not in the hospital with this. And just watching somebody suffer is just really, it's it's too much to bear. It's just, it's so hard. So I feel really badly for all of those people, but then I'm so grateful. Then, then you keep walking through it, and you just have to be so grateful that we have such capable people right here in our own community at Valley Hospital that are helping all of our neighbors cope with this. I mean, we have such brilliant and ambitious people at our Valley Hospital. Those people that are walking in there, whether they are providing direct health care or if they're just support staff, it is the most remarkable thing I have seen ever in my life. Sorry, it's just, I've dropped things off there, excuse me. And the people, the amount of volunteers, the coordination, everything is so perfectly organized. I am so incredibly impressed about what is going on at Valley Hospital and how people are, they're the sick people that go there. I've talked to some people that have been in the hospital and they've been released, and the quality of care that they have received is just makes me feel so proud of our local hospital.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you feel that this experience in COVID-19 is changing us as a community, and how do you foresee that being brought into life when this is over?
Jim and I talked about that earlier, and we said, whatever we've practiced up until this point, it's game time. This is where you really have to put all of the work that you've used in your life into action. And so if you've practiced compassion, if you've practiced kindness, if you've practiced all of those giving qualities, that's who you're seeing right now. And there's so many, many, many people like that in our community. And if you've practiced fear, if you've practiced being untrusting, then I feel so badly for those people, because this can't be a good time. So what I was suggesting to Jim is that those of us who have that passion to serve, now more than ever is what our time to really put the rubber, where the rubber meets the road, I guess is the saying, really put that into action. And so we can bring everybody together as best we can. And that's what Ridgewood Walks is all about. It is, Ridgewood Walks was designed to reconnect our community one conversation at a time, right? And I really believe that, what we've seen at the national level, there's been a lot of, disconnection and a lot of divisiveness at the federal level, and it just keeps trickling on down into the local level. And we've seen that here. I mean, we'd be foolish not to recognize that. And so my biggest and greatest and deepest hope is that we can reconnect our community, and we can find strengths in one another, and that we can really help each other. Whatever your strength is, I want to know what that is, and I want you to put that to use for the betterment of our community. That's bottom line, every single one of us. I don't care what it is. If it's in information technology, if it's in raking leaves, I don't care what your skill is. Let's put it all together and let's do it for the greater good. Right now is our opportunity for all of us to come together. There's never been a better time. It doesn't seem right that something that is as catastrophic as this crisis would have a silver lining. But for me, the silver lining is finding all of us and giving us a reason to come together.
We're all Brene Brown fans. And Brene, of course, talks about authenticity. When you speak, it feels so authentic. I feel like I'm speaking from someplace within your soul. I have a funny feeling our grandchildren one day might go to Washington, D.C., to the Smithsonian Institute, and they'll walk in and they'll look at the biggest heart that any human being ever had, and they'll say, "Oh my God, it comes from Ridgewood. Look at that heart. That's Jeanne Johnson. She lived in Ridgewood." I mean, your heart is just filled And I know every time you give, you get back. But we thank you from everyone in Ridgewood, everyone in the tri-state area for what you're doing. You mentioned something earlier, the circle of concern and the circle of influence. I think you got that one right on the mark. You're influencing people in your circle more than I'm sure you could ever imagine. So we thank you for the work you've done. We love you, and keep doing what you're doing, Jeanne. It's really special.
I love you guys too. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeanne. You're really, such an inspiration. So thank you for talking to us today.
Sweet. Thank you.